Welcome to Hip Hop Now Podcast. If you're from the future, you know what to do. Get your ass out of here. Don't disrespect the legend. Hip hop is here to stay. Let's get right into the business. What up, y'all? I am your host, Vegas, and this is Hip Hop Now Podcast, a podcast specifically designed to keep you caught up on all things hip hop music and culture that happened throughout the week. Big shout out to the supporters over at patreon.com/hiphopnow. And if you would like to learn more about being a Patreon producer, supporter, whatever you want to call it, click the link in the description of this episode. Big shout out to the new followers of Hip Hop Now Podcast, whether you listen in audio form on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, or specifically on YouTube, where we are slowly but surely climbing our way towards 500 subscribers on this channel. I think right now we're at like 442, so we just a little bit over halfway there. So the best thing to do, if you enjoy this podcast and you've already subscribed, share it with people who would enjoy this content also. But also, if you're brand new, if you like what you're hearing, you watch a couple videos, become one of us. Join us by subscribing, liking, and definitely comment on the topics. I read them all. I respond to them, whether I just hit a like on your joint, if I pin it because you said some really good-ish, or I just straight up respond to what you have to say. It's all about the conversation, debate, community, and all that good stuff. I'm not here to tell you what hip-hop is. I'm just here to tell you I know what it is. All right. Big shout out to hiphopdx.com, Ambrosia for Heads, and a couple of places where I'm getting some of these stories from. Let's get right into the business. So recently, legendary breakdancing hip-hop film Beat Street celebrated 40 years of existence. If you're too young to know, or maybe you never watched Beat Street at any point, you should check it out, because as much as you hear people talk about the history of hip-hop and or saying there are 5 elements to hip-hop, is not just rapping. I know nowadays we think it's just about MCing and rapping. It's not. It's about graffiti artists. It's about breakdance. It's about DJing. Obviously, it's about rapping. It's about the slang. It's about the fashion. And Beat Street was one of those films that gave you, along with Wild Style and Breaking and stuff like that, gave you a look into that world at that time. And honestly, I think a day like today, especially after that concert last night, I think people need to be reminded of what hip hop really is at its core. And it's about artistic expression in these various ways. You know what I'm saying? And it's the reason why it's the most popular genre in the world, as far as, let streaming numbers tell it. So, the 40th anniversary of Beat Street comes up, and then some really dope news just happened not that long ago, which is crazy. This is coming from hiphopdx.com. It says Nas, yep, that Nas, teams up with Arthur Baker to bring Beat Street to the stage. Nas has played a key role in disseminating the craft and culture of rap to unique places, and he is now joining forces with a fellow industry veteran on a new theater production. So let's see. On Friday, June 14th, the New York City native attended the 40th anniversary screening of Beat Street at the Tribeca Film Festival. At the event, Esco announced that he will be developing a stage adaptation of the 1984 movie about the early days of hip-hop. In addition to taking on the role of producer, he will also work on the soundtrack. This is excellent, man. This is the type of stuff that should happen. This is being smart about the preservation of hip hop culture, right? It's not just enough to have a museum, which we're gonna have in the Bronx pretty soon, an official museum, I should say, which I assume will have a like official Hall of Fame. We hope, but also, the different films and documentaries. And last year was 50 years of hip hop, and it feels like this is the perfect way to commemorate hip hop, to preserve it. Now, I probably would have chose breaking, but I think breaking focuses so much on the dancers and the pop lockers and the break dancers. Beat Street is kind of all of it. So I get why that would be a play, and it has a storyline. You know what I'm saying? It has an interesting storyline. Um, so I who knows now. I would like it to be a musical. I ain't gonna front. A musical would be dope because if you could watch musicals like what's the one joint that, man, we heard about it for years, and I can't even remember. Hamilton. There we go. Hamilton, right? That was a very dope idea and it worked. But this is something that is hip hop. And if you could have Rainbow, which is one of the characters, rapping about, you know, graffiti and tags and the cops, and like this could be really dope if done correctly and you get the right people to do it for theater. It could be huge, right? And I mean Broadway Tony Award winning huge. That's how we talking. So it's an excellent idea, and I'm glad it's being done. So let's keep our eyes on that. If I'm still in the tri-state area, guess what? I'm coming home to watch it. Okay. But I'm here now, so hurry up, Nas. The Clipse, that being Pusha T and No Malice, or Malice back in the days, but he No Malice now, have announced officially, along with Pharrell, that a new Clipse album is officially being produced by Pharrell and on the way. Now, this was in an interview with Vulture. Uh, their last album, To the Casket Drop, which was pretty dope, dropped in 2009, which is crazy. That's a very long time ago. Here's a quote from Pusha T. I think the album shows the supreme maturation of a rap duo. I think this is where you get the difference between taste and filler. The music is curated. This is a high taste level piece of work. You can only have that level of taste when you have the fundamentals down to a science. I think it's been definitely missing. Then there's the competitive aspect. So I'm not going to read. Well, No Malice added. This is smart basketball. It's fundamentals, and not only that, it's authenticity. It's what rap should look like if you're real about your craft, real about your experience, real about your storytelling. It's bringing the fans along to see the growth, not trying to fit in or fabricate. I like the way y'all talking. I like the way y'all talking, Clips. Because for one, when you say all of that, you better back it up. That's one. Two, I think if you just listen at the last two albums from Pusha T, as far as that expertise and fine tuning something, that's part of the reason why, like Daytona and I forget the other one, the last one, like it's some of these cats now be having like sentences for their albums. I don't remember. It's like it's hard, but it's wet. Pause. Like I don't remember the name. Put it in the comment section. But I think in a lot of ways, the quality of those last two releases from him says exactly this. Like you're no longer wet behind the ears in the rap game, trying to assert yourself, trying to find your footing. It's more of a I've established how good I am, my flow, how varied I could be in my flow, my beat selection, how all the songs come together. That's the curation part that he mentioned. All of this is about fine tuning and going down to every little detail and making sure it is as close to perfect as you can get it. And I like the sound of that. And I like the sound of that more so for a Clipse album. Because truth be told, during the time of the Clipse, No Malice was my favorite out the group. And for those you internet dudes who once you say one guy's your favorite, that means the other guy's whack. That is not true. I thought they were both crazy. But if I had to choose one, I resonated more with what and how Malice was rhyming, or No Malice now was rhyming. Like I just thought he was dope. Like that song they got off the till the casket drop album with Cameron. I forget outside of Popeyes eating chicken and fries, holla at your uncle. That one. Malice verse on there is crazy. Go listen to it. So I am optimistic because I think even though we've heard him rhyme now, I don't think he's whack because he's not that guy anymore. But I think what he needs to learn based off of his newer music as No Malice, talking about your past is what rappers do. So you're not necessarily promoting it by talking about what you used to do. Jay-Z's built the entire career off of that, and he talks about what he does now. So I think if Malice approaches it not from a standpoint of, you know, uh, shaming it, but almost embracing it because of who you are to now, like it's a part of your fabric. It's what Malcolm X did, right? Like I used to be this guy, and now I found knowledge of self, and now I'm this guy, and this is what I used to do, and blah 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 blah. Like being descriptive, because to me, that level of storytelling, I'm not at least me and fans who think like me are not from an era where if you're not doing all these things, then you're whack. Because please tell me that all these dudes are doing all these crimes they say in their rhymes, bars. Because at the end of the day, a lot of them would not be free. We see it happen. Bobby Schmurda thought it was cool to put some real stuff in. Boom, you in prison, fam. Right? AR Ab thought it was cool to be telling y'all, blah, 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 really do this, blah, blah, blah. You in prison, fam. Casanova 2 times, yo, 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 get in prison. That's not what the history of rap. Coogee Rap been free. He done had war with the mafia and everything on his record. Nobody takes anything away from Coogee Rap. And that's all his music has ever been about. He doesn't have to commit a crime. Hip hop and rappers are also storytellers. So if No Malice approaches his lyrics similar to what he did when he was with the Clipse, but more from an introspective standpoint, but still being descriptive about what it is and blah blah blah. You don't have to say this could happen to you now. I think it would be dope up against what we're used to hearing from Pusha T. Because the only thing is with Pusha T, he's good. I don't know what he's like without coke rhymes anymore, right? He's become like the ambassador of coke rhymes, right? Way more than he was with the Clipse. As a soloist, that's what he is. And do I even want to hear him without him going there? I don't know. But at the end of the day, I think this could be some heat because there's a lot of things that's happened 50 years of hip hop, and especially this year, there's a lot of things that's happening that I could tell are inspiring hip hop heads, old and new, to care more about what they create. And it's all like we got LL back and sounding crazy. We got Nas and Primo supposed to be working together. Pete and P Rock and Common sounding crazy, right? Like we had the Kendrick Lamar and Drake battle, which was a hip hop thing, right? All the hype behind that. It's just there's a number of things that have been happening and that are gonna happen or gonna occur at least this year that I think will inspire a lot of people to create and do better, not really make music to feed the machine of business so they can stay rich or they could keep their security around, but more so do both. Create really dope music because when you create really dope music, the rest of the money will take care of itself. It's all about it catching on with people. But if you can't catch on with people without a Bitcoin or some kind of other thing to get them interested, they ain't gonna never be interested. So there you have it. And lastly, so last night, right? I'm missing the NBA. I'm like, oh well, let me just play, play a couple of games of my franchise in 2K. And then I start getting a couple of text messages from people, text messages, WhatsApp, tweets, all kinds of stuff about Kendrick, and everybody's assuming I know what they're talking about because nobody's using his name. Like, yo, he going in, blah blah blah, and I'm like, what? I forgot. Tonight is the Pop Out concert. So Kendrick Lamar put on a concert basically called like Kenny and Friends or Ken and Friends, which featured a number of different sets like DJ Mustard and a couple other DJs, and they brought people out and all that. But obviously, he closed out with his set, and I missed the earlier set, so I got to watch those. But I caught the very beginning of Kendrick Lamar's set, and I turn on Twitch, and he's performing Euphoria, which for those who don't know is his first official Drake diss record that came out, right? Like that was a verse that kind of Drake dropped push-ups, and then Kendrick responded a little bit later with Euphoria, and then you know what happened after that. The set was, he opened with Euphoria, but then he and the crowd was rapping along with it. Like, first of all, everybody was like, "Yo, he opening with Euphoria," so that was already crazy. Then he would perform some of his hits, and then he did 616 in LA. Now, just as a hip hop head, that's my favorite one because the beat, along with how Kendrick is flowing, and when Kendrick did that joint, Ab Soul came out, and I think he brought Ab Soul out because around the time they dropped, there was this like viral, not viral like that, but video that was going around of Ab Soul singing the intro, like it's survival. Somebody lying. I think somebody lying. So he had Ab Soul do that part, which was a dope idea because not only is it a part of the song, but it also ties into what some people saw online at the time from Ab Soul. So he performed that joint, and then later he would do a number of songs that he brought out. He did basically a lot of joints. He brought out the TDE rap fans. Not so SZA wasn't there, but the rap dudes, black hippie dudes, brought them all out. Schoolboy Q was out there. Who else was out there? J Rock was out there. So he kind of, he did songs with them, brought them out. Now he didn't do Meet the Grams, which I thought that was good because that diss record, even though people love that diss record, and that's probably the ether of the competition between him and Drake. I don't know if that's necessarily a show song because it doesn't work if you don't do all the verses, and then that's a long song to do all the verses in this way, and it's a very intimate diss record. So I was kind of glad he didn't do that. So he also brought out Dr. Dre, and Dr. Dre performed two songs like "Still Dre" and "California Love." And I thought that was dope too. And I remember texted people like, yo, when he does Not Like Us, this crowd, which was already crazy during the whole set, is gonna go crazy when he finally hits that. So I'm thinking, all right, he's gonna make that the last song. He did it 6 times. He performed that record in some ways 6 times for the sixth God. Now, just to be clear, he didn't perform the entire record 6 times. He did two versions of it. The first version, when he started, first of all, he had Dr. Dre say, I see dead people, which is crazy, right? Then he performs like the first, second verse up to A minor, that part, right? And he dwells on it and like dances, right? And the crowd is still A minor, like they still going with it. Then you hear, I see that. And he does it again, but this time he lets the crowd do most of the rapping on the lyrics. And it was crazy. He stopped again on A minor, did the dance, and then he did it again, but this time he did the whole song, which was crazy. And then I think on the fourth and fifth time, he started. I think by the time of the time he did it, he had already brought out all these people from LA, from NBA stars from LA, like Russell Westbrook and um, DeMar DeRozan. LeBron was in the crowd, but he ain't from LA, so just stay your ass in the crowd. Uh, you play for the Lakers, so what? Uh, but he brought out all these people, you know what I'm saying, the MCs, different sets, different blocks, all on stage, Bloods, Crips, all on stage unified. He took this huge picture with them in the middle. And when he performed the song for what was basically the fifth time, it was amongst all these people who were dancing on the stage, and it was so dope because he was just walking through. Cameraman was on point because cameraman had like the perfect. It wasn't chaotic shots of Kendrick. It was like because you could be bumping into people and lose Kendrick somewhere in the crowd, but it was perfect because it was like he had the perfect amount of space. Even when he would give somebody a pound, he really didn't disappear within the crowd. And he's performing a song, and they all dancing like the sea walking. All they was just, it was all Cali up there. It was crazy. And then it kind of broke out into like a little dance battle. And I kept thinking to myself, this is the blackest performance I've seen in a while. Because this is like having a camera within a party. For those who don't really go to the club, whether it's now or in the past, um, or you never been to a black club, this is when it's a good time at the club. No fighting, no nonsense, no nothing. Like everybody there is just cool with each other and they don't really even know each other like that. It was just a dope display. And the sixth time was the fact that they just played the record or they played the instrumental as they were leaving out. And Kendrick, you can still hear Kendrick saying some of the song. So it was obviously the entire show was more than that. But I think for that display, which was basically worldwide because yeah, the concert was happening in Inglewood, California. It was also on Twitch, excuse me, Amazon Music, because they let people who react to things, they let them stream it while they reacted to it, because that's how I initially saw some of it, and then I switched over to Apple Music and some stuff on YouTube and stuff like not Apple Music, Amazon Music, and it was a spectacle, and it was another reason why he's in my top 5 all time, right? He ain't got no whack releases. Stop it. Um, but also, it shows how he continues to help, not the only one, but help carry the torch of hip hop in various ways. And not only a celebration of hip hop by bringing out people like Dr. Dre, and he's not even on TDE anymore, but bringing out his peoples from that way he built his own stardom from TDE, performing all these different records, you know what I'm saying, from all his albums. But he's also celebrating Black folk, right? Our culture. And honestly, that when he was performing and all those people were on stage, and it wasn't just dudes, it was kids, it was women, it was everybody. That was like a live, like if I had to bottle, because that's not the only thing, but if I had to bottle up what Black culture is when it comes to camaraderie and celebrating and partying and having fun, that was a snapshot into what we mean. Those are the intangibles that Aubrey seemed to try to manufacture but can't duplicate. I'm just saying. Well, let me take that back. He can duplicate it enough, because don't get me wrong, I am still a Drake fan. I still bumping my stuff. So it is what it is. But it's a lesson, right? You can't when it's organic, it's a different feeling. So to all the online, oh, this guy was paid to play bots. Everybody does that. I'm pretty sure, I guarantee you, because I saw it in real time. When Family Matters and Meet the Grams dropped, Meet the Grams views and streams were going crazy. And I was like, damn, that many people watching and listening. If some of those were bots, cool. Now, good reporting, I forget who it was. I think it was Double XL magazine, when there was a screenshot of the payouts. The payouts weren't necessarily coming from a LLC. So it was difficult to confirm that Kendrick or his team or his label paid this person for bots. Because if you know anything about business, you can't just start making up names when you're sending money. Like, you got to do taxes and all that. So it need to be real, okay, where the money's coming from. So even if it was real or not, bots is a part of the game. There are podcast people who are on YouTube who pay for bots in order to push their views and their subscribers to a certain point where they meet the criteria of the algorithm. I don't do that, and that's why I need you to subscribe. I'm doing it the organic way, right? If you like what you like, subscribe. So it was a great show. You can still go and watch it. I'm probably going to check out the earlier sets just to see what happened there. But again, the legend of Kendrick Lamar continues to grow. And after all of this, because that battle was a moment in history, and so was this show, all this year, it's only right that at some point, whether it's the summer or the fall, we get the next album. Because honestly, it's about that time for him anyway. So it's crazy, but it's what we love. We love hip hop. What did you think of the show? Did you watch the show? Do you even care about it? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Subscribe if you're listening on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. But most importantly, also head over to the YouTube channel right here, Hip Hop Now Pod. Subscribe to this YouTube channel for more hip hop content. I did a best albums and EPs of 2024 so far. If you missed that episode, check it out. You can find some hip hop in there. I know there's some people who I didn't include. I didn't include it because I didn't think it was the best of the year, but you never know, because we are only at the halfway. I may go back and listen to a couple albums and be like, you know what? This album deserves to be on this list. So, until next time, y'all, I'm not a critic. I'm a fan. Peace.